Hi, Suri here from AV Prepping. Hope you had a good day. Hope you have gas in your tank because apparently they're gonna turn on the pipeline again. So the government says. Are you prepared for another cyber attack? Okay, so our garden is all prepped up. We live in Northeast Tennessee. They say the Farmer's Almanac, we can go ahead and start putting stuff in the ground, the summer stuff, in after May 10th, Mother's Day. Well, we're gonna have mid 30-degree weather tonight. It's been kind of a cold spring, so we're not gonna put anything in the ground until next week, but we have our stuff in our pots. They are ready to go. We're gonna start planting. You know, the hard part of gardening, which isn't really hard, it's kind of enjoyable actually, but you know, you gotta get everything prepped up. So we have our rows set, and next week we'll start putting stuff in the ground. Here's the garden. Well, what's gonna be the garden, I guess. Our neighbors have chickens. We have another garden that we have peas in the ground. We put beans in, but our cats kind of walked all over the place and they didn't really do too well. So we're gonna be using our green bean or our sweet peas, and end of summer we're gonna go ahead and plant a big crop of green beans that we can get canned up. So here's our peas that are in the ground right now. They seem to be doing pretty well. We have a very prolific two blueberry bushes, and we get tons and tons of blueberries off of this thing. We still have blueberries from last season. And right here, we have our blackberries and our raspberries. We're going on the second year of these in the ground. We got some last year, not a whole lot, but they're doing a lot better already this year. I can already see berries starting to come on all over the place. So hopefully we'll have a lot of berries we can put in the freezer. So right here we have our apple tree. We put this in the ground about 3 years ago. We probably got a dozen apples off of it last year. We have a lot of blooms on it this year. I can see apples that are gonna grow and stay, so hopefully we'll get a good amount of apples that we can make apple butter and you know, make some compote and get it frozen and store it. And once we get our freeze dryer, we'll go ahead and freeze dry it. And right over here is our big peach tree. Now, last year we didn't have any peaches on it, but this year I can see peaches starting to grow. So, you know, if we put something in the ground, we try to get something that we can eat out of it, except our front garden. That's just for aesthetic purposes. And over here, we have a fig tree that dies every single year, but it comes back every single year, and we get figs off of this little thing. It looks pretty anemic, but it looked like that the last 2 years, but we always got figs off of it. And I have a coworker who has a big giant fig tree. It does the same thing. It dies out when it freezes, but it comes back and she gets lots of figs off of it. So these are some of the things we're doing to hedge our bets against the inflation that's getting ready, well, that has hit us, that's going to start getting a lot worse. You know, these are things you can do to be more self-reliant. As a person, as a neighborhood, we should be doing this as a country. You know, back in World War II, they had the victory gardens. We should have our inflation gardens right now. It would be a really wise thing to do. You know, better to have and not need than to need and not have, I guess. So try to get your garden going. If you live in an apartment, you can get a 5-gallon bucket. You can put lettuce in it. You can get a 5-gallon bucket. You can put tomatoes in it. You can get a big bucket on your patio, and you can grow potatoes if you wanted to. They're actually pretty easy to grow. Same thing with lettuce. We have our lettuce in our little growing pots right now. We have a big container that we put on the side of the house for our lettuce, and we'll be because it gets sun and a lot of shade, because it'll be too hot here in the winter time or summertime for our lettuce. But these are things we're doing. You need to start thinking about hedging against the things that are coming. So it was the pipeline last week. It might be our supply chain via our freight companies next week. It might start to be the refineries. You know, I have friends out in California and they're not too concerned about the gas problems, but it's going to affect them, the pipeline, because we ship goods out there and it's going to cost them more. But what if our refineries had a cyber attack against them and they couldn't produce oil? Be prepared. Get your food ready. Watch the other video we have, the couple videos we have on simple dry canning your, long-term food storage, and you can start hedging your bets. You go to the grocery store, get an extra week's worth of food, because, this is just the beginning of it. Like I said, the shiz has hit the fan, and it is a slow rolling train wreck. And the government's going to try to fix it, and they're just going to make it worse. Like I said, they ain't got the sharpest tools in the shed, but damned if they ain't tools. Trust me on this. It's think. And that's how things get done. So doesn't matter what the best thing to do is they're going to do the best thing that serves them, not us, the people. God bless and simplify.